Hi, I'm John Bobrow. I'm CEO and founder of Move 38. About 7 years ago, I joined the MIT Media Lab to invent playful systems. And at the time, students were gathering and throwing parties called 99 Fridays. It was a good excuse to get together. It also, in Media Lab fashion, was the perfect place to make something fun and demo your wacky creation. I decided to make an interactive projection of Conway's Game of Life. It was kind of an awkward dance party. This is someone kind of getting carried away with it. I found myself also entranced by this seemingly simple system with emergent properties. I was playing with Conway's Game of Life, and I had just learned about the R pentamino, an initial condition with a long lifespan and what Martin Gardner would call a Methuselah. The seed starts as something very small, and then it becomes much larger than its initial configuration. I wanted to know what it would feel like to hold a cellular automata. If Game of Life is this fertile ground for creative exploration and all these new discoveries, well, what might we find if we can think with our hands? I started building blinks. Each blink is an automaton. It's got very basic inputs and very basic outputs. The first simulations I made were based on the Game of Life rule set. And much like life, they created these different patterns that would stabilize in different ways, some of them dynamic, some of them static. I would even give them names, so windmill or swing dancers. This one I believe I called Duck Duck Goose. But at the Media Lab, I was surrounded by game designers. They asked me, they said, "Hey, John, any chance I can make a game for those cool new game pieces you've designed?" Well, thanks to Celia Pierce and M. Laserwalker, in a 3-hour game jam, we made the very first game. That game was called Fracture, and it's easy to learn, but the gameplay is deep and complex. It was also surprisingly fun. My fellow grad students started inviting me over for dinners, which was cool. So let's play some games. So these are blinks. And if you're familiar with the game Whack-A-Mole, you'll be familiar with this game. It's called Wham. I double-click to start the game, and when I see red pop up, I've got to hit it before it times down. If you're colorblind, you can probably notice that they're counting down as well. And if I miss hit, I get a strike. If I miss hit a second time, I'll get a second strike. There's 30 levels in this game, and each round gets faster and faster. But Blinks isn't a game system for Whack-A-Mole. In fact, the Blinks game system is built for all sorts of games. Each blink knows a different game. So let me show you another game real quickly. I'm going to show you a game called Puzzle 101. To load up Puzzle 101, I simply hold down the blink for 3 seconds. It looks for neighbors to teach the game, and then it'll teach all the other blinks how to play that game. Puzzle 101 was actually designed by my very first intern, Dan King, as well as Vanilla U. This game was conceived in one of our weekly sessions, and it's a really basic game, and I thought you'd all enjoy it because I think there's a lot of puzzle solvers in the audience. Maybe you'll solve it quicker than I can. Puzzle 101 starts like this. There's a brain in the middle. I double-click, and it creates a puzzle. My job is to solve the puzzle by putting yellow connected to yellow, blue connected to blue, and red connected to red. And there's only one solution here. This one actually might be a little bit, have a couple more solutions. When I'm done solving, I double-click, put it back in the brain, and I'm ready to solve a new puzzle. They're completely procedurally generated. When you're done playing with them, you can roll them up and put them in a sushi roll. So the cool thing about Blinks is that we also designed them to be really easy to program. And we made it open source. We started bringing them to game jams, where people would have 12 to 48 hours to make their own games. There are now over 40 games on the Blinks platform, 2/3 of which are designed by the community. And we've shipped more than 800 Game Maker kits. I'd like to share a few of the community games from the forum. Dragon's Lair is a collaboration between two developers that actually met in our forum. It's your job to steal the treasure without getting burnt by the dragon. You can see all the treasure around the outside.
Please wrap it up.
Terrarium is less of a game, and it's more of a simulation of water, soil, plants. You can see them start to grow. And Hexenwood is a strategic territory control game for 2 to 4 players, and the developer even made an AI to play against you. I'm starting to think that the real Methuselah isn't the Arpentamino, but the emergent community of curious minds that Conway and Gardner brought together. I hope this week you'll take a moment to ask me, how do all those moles know to pop up at just the right time? Or how many puzzles can be created generatively in Puzzle 101? Or stop me to play one of the community games. What would you make with Blinks? Thank you.